Hello, my name is Latasha Moore, and the following is my presentation on a case study that was conducted in southern India during 2006 and 2007. This presentation is for the fall 2016 Health Behavior Health Education course at the University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences. My presentation will specifically discuss ethics, and I will be addressing the following issues. Based on the ethical principles outlined in the Belmont report, describe the ethical issues that should be considered in the condom use promotion programs. How did or did not the program planners address these or any ethical issues? How would you have addressed these ethical issues if you were the program planner? Justify your answer. In order for you to understand the issue of ethics in this case study, I must first help you understand the Belmont report. It was developed in 1976 by the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, an agency of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Its purpose is to help resolve ethical issues in research and prevent future ones from happening. It does so with three basic principles: respect for persons, beneficence, and justice. Respect for persons states that a person should be able to act and think for themselves when participating in a study. For example, excuse that phone call. For example, they should not be coerced or misled or lied to in order to participate. The second part of this principle states that those who do not have sufficient understanding or mental capacity should be protected when participating in a study. This includes children and mentally disabled individuals. Beneficence involves ensuring the well-being of participants. It states that researchers should never intentionally cause harm, and that benefits should be maximized while harm is minimized. The maximization of benefits and minimization of harm is somewhat of a balancing act. When trying to do this, researchers must consider how much risk of harm they are willing to have participants face in order to potentially have a beneficial outcome. Researchers also have to think about at what point is the risk of harm so great that any potential benefit would not be worth going through with a study. The ethical principle of justice involves ensuring that the burdens and benefits of a study are distributed equitably. As my example states, researchers should not experiment on a certain population and take the findings from that study to go and benefit another population. What subjects are chosen for research and how the subjects are selected are a few factors of justice. Let's dive into the case study. According to the literature, 10% of the world's HIV cases are from India, and most of the cases in this country are in the South. The majority of HIV transmissions happen through sexual encounters between female sex workers and their male customers. An organization called Population Services International developed an intervention that spanned 2 years in order to combat this issue. The strategy took place in 100 Indian states and was carried out through games, plays, and discussions that all surrounded the issue of condom use. Surveys were initially conducted to find out the key determinant in the use of condoms, which was discovered to be the men's beliefs about condoms.
Parvati is one of 85,000 prostitutes working in India's southeast state of Karnataka. The young mother earns $2 for each sexual act. Her monthly income averages around $300. That's much more than the $60 a month she earned working long hours as a garment worker. Just 3 months on the job, Parvati mistakenly applies eyeshadow to her lips. An older sex worker chides her for the makeup blunder.
My husband left me. I joined the business till after the family. In the business, I am exploited. I did not know about condoms, so I just had sex without condoms.
Parvati was taught about condoms 1 month ago when another sex worker brought her to this community center in Greater Bangalore. She is now one of the 4,500 sex workers who live by the slogan, "No condom, no sex." This is the catchphrase for the government-subsidized Baruka Charitable Trust. The organization began 5 years ago and has since had a 600% increase in the number of sex workers who have pledged to enforce the condom rule. At the center, some of the sex workers are peer educators. They are paid $30 a month to run safe sex workshops for other prostitutes. The center distributes 50,000 free condoms a month to the prostitutes. Many of the clients are construction workers and truckers who are at high risk of infection. Because an estimated 15% of female prostitutes in southern India are HIV infected, the sex workers are praised for their efforts to combat HIV.
The following slides will discuss how the ethical principles of the Belmont Report were incorporated into the intervention of condom use in men. Foremost, researchers respected the participants by allowing them to act on their own. The plays, games, and discussions were voluntary. Men were not forced to participate in these activities. Respect of persons would not have been carried out if states had passed a law that mandated all men to participate in one of these activities, whether they were sleeping with a sex worker or not. Another example of disrespect would be if a researcher interrupted the sex act between the worker and man and pushed the man to wear a condom before proceeding. From my perspective, there was no harm involved in this intervention. It sought to benefit both parties involved, the male customer and the female sex worker. In terms of justice, the way in which subjects were selected and reasons they were selected was ethical. Researchers chose the areas where the need was greatest and stuck with the organization's mission of aiding those with low socioeconomic status. One issue that I quickly noticed was that this program did not include women, who equally have the risk of contracting HIV. Only encouraging men to wear condoms puts the burden on the man. So if he doesn't want to comply, a woman is still at risk. This study addressed my concern and stated that several other programs were already targeting women. So this initiative was carried out to balance the matter. As I've previously shown you the video of the life of sex workers, so you have a better idea of what all is involved in that lifestyle. I made a note here that the whole idea of giving someone a condom before they go out and sleep with someone they really don't know reminds me of the drug intervention that has taken place here in the U.S. Not in all places though, but as some of you or all of you may know, in order to combat HIV transmission amongst IV drug users, some areas give the drug users clean needles. So instead of encouraging them, hey, please stop doing drugs, they, I guess, get a little more realistic and say, hey, we know you're probably not going to stop doing drugs. We can't make you at least. Here's a needle. So I guess it's kind of the same idea there in India. Here's a response idea. I'm not Dr. Montgomery or Whittington, Professor Whittington, but I can't give you points, but I can give you a response idea. As I have shown you all the video of the life of sex workers in India, and ideas for you all to dig a little deeper and see if any of the interventions actually are doing the opposite of what this program with the men is doing and the video with women are doing. If any interventions are actually trying to convince women to just stop the whole job as a sex worker, I'd love to see what you all find. But back to the matter at hand. Although the study's reasoning for not including women, made sense to me, my suggestion would be to give men female condoms also. So in addition to the male condom they receive, give them a female condom. So if for some reason a man still doesn't want the condom on his person necessarily, he may enjoy it better if the lady has the condom. Therefore, they still have a decreased risk of HIV. Because it really doesn't matter who wears the condom as long as someone does. So in summary, I have discussed the 2-year program that took place in southern India. Its goal was to increase the number of male customers of female sex workers using their use of condoms. The study found that the men's belief about condoms was a key factor in determining if they would actually use them. A variety of methods was implemented, including plays, discussions, and games. And the Belmont report's ethics of respect of persons, beneficence, and justice were all incorporated. Here's a list of my references. Thank you for listening and have a great day.